surprise. Doesn't live doesn't mean you're alive. To live doesn't mean you're alive. To live doesn't mean you're alive. To live doesn't mean you're alive.
Yo guys, welcome to Frontline Young Minds, a podcast where we discuss topics surrounding music and mental health. Welcome to episode 2, Women in the Industry, where we'll be highlighting prominent female artists whilst discussing the trials and tribulations of being a woman in the music industry. Alright, welcome back. We're going to jump straight into episode 2, Women in the Industry. So I'll start off. Do you guys think women are underrepresented or overrepresented in the industry?
I'm going to let Charlotte speak first.
I feel like when it comes to them being overrepresented, I feel like they're just over-sexualized, and then that's what people cast as overrepresented. Oh, they're too up there and they're too well. But most rappers that are mostly focused on actual like real issues and real stuff that they actually want to talk about from the heart, they're underrepresented.
I think that's perfect. Literally, I was going to say, just to add on to that, it, again, is like, this is what the industry kind of pushes on like young people, as well as society, but young people in particular as well, like to kind of sexualize females. So it's like excitement, especially if it's engagement at the end of the day. So yeah, I agree 100%. But what do you guys feel like? Do you feel like the state of females in the industry has changed? Like, especially, obviously, Charlotte, you're a bit young, but like if you go to the 90s and just the way kind of females approached music compared to now, where it's like, I feel like it's less from the art, more, my clothes gotta be nice, my videos gotta be the best, I gotta have the best weave, or my body gotta... What do you guys think? Do you feel like the essence of it has kind of gone a bit?
I think it's changed, but that has always been about to an extent. Like when you're talking about like women in the industry, like beauty comes into it more than if you're talking about men within the industry. Yeah,
it's true, because you can even go back to, do you guys know Etta James?
I heard of it, Etta James.
At last, my love is gone home. You guys gonna be singing, man. There's like an old school song in it, but like she basically sang that last year, and I don't want to be rude, but you can kind of compare it to like Megan Thee Stallion, in terms of like she was like mad talented in the industry, but it's like mad sexualized, like, and it's like obviously she was dealing with like prominent artists back in the day as well, so it's crazy because you can kind of see the same things going on.
Similar patterns, because it's like, as much as the responsibility is within like people who have power in the music industry, it's also down to like what consumers buy.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I also feel like with how music for the females used to be back in the day and compared to now, mostly now you see more female rappers coming up, and like as they're coming up, like so there's a sexualization of them coming up. Everyone wants these BBLs, everyone wants all of that to make their music video looks good, but like back it used to be more like R&B with Whitney Houston and like soul, and it was like leaning to the heart. But everyone's just hopping on like a certain trend, which is right now it's like it's female rap trend, and you see every female rapper coming up now.
Yeah, but dude, it's interesting you said that, because I feel like now, actually, let me put this point out to you guys. Do you feel like it's to a point where like sexuality is not enough now? So like you have certain female artists coming out. What's the newest one? Don't play with it. What's her name? Lola Brooke?
Lola Brooke, she's good.
She's good, but the deep voice, the aggressiveness. So do you feel like there's kind of like...
yourself masculine.
Yeah, so it's like a move away from the feminine side of it, to like, okay, now even sexuality like only gets you a certain bit. So do you feel like females kind of need to adapt this kind of certain masculine traits if they want to do well in the industry?
Definitely 100, because even I do it myself. Like whenever I'm rapping, I'm always like trying to have a deeper voice, and I'm always trying to sound like, I'm a guy, because with the way guys are represented when they rap, it's like, they're good. Like, if off the bat, if you have a male rapper, and I'm not saying like for every male rapper they're going to be good, didn't it? But like most their male friends will hype them up. Whether when you have a female rapper, and then most males wouldn't really hype them up, rather judge them and most like comment on what they do. But for me, like, I do with a deeper voice. I rap about being like more aggressive and everything, because when they see me rap about, say, other stuff to do with like girls and whatever, it's always, I'm not serious, I'm this or I'm bad.
So do you feel like there should be more support towards the type of rap you want to rap, not the type of rap that society wants you to rap?
100, but it's the thing about how we're going to get, because society's mind is already like kind of made up. There's always going to be judgments. There's always, like, no matter what we're trying to do.
So, sorry, just to add and give you a question, what do you feel like is needed, or is there any, what's like an ideal situation where you feel like you'll be able to, or females in general will be able to, or feel more confident to go out there and just rap about themselves without fear of discrimination and prejudice?
So repeat that one.
I was like,
sorry, the first one went over my head.
No, so I was basically trying to say, now you low-key got me confused because I'm trying to think. No, but I'm low-key trying to say that, what do you think? Is there anything that can be done, or do you feel like, what do you think can be done in terms of kind of moving away from that stigma of females need to rap this way in order to basically receive attention? What do you feel like there needs to be, like, I don't know, a female rap savior where she's so undeniably hard that you have to listen to her? Or do you feel like the industry has to change and there needs to be certain things in place, whereas like maybe, I don't know, record labels have to push for lyrical female artists? What do you feel like? Any suggestions?
I definitely think that like record labels should definitely push for more talent than looks, because you see like some female rappers that's coming up now. I'm not saying that they're bad or that they're like not good, but it's like, could they have done with more work before they were put out there due to their body? Like, even like, say if I'm rapping on live or anything with my friends, it's always, Peckham Bandits this, and then I literally the other day I was called a Peckham Bandit on live because we were just rapping. It was crazy. Or like Gassed Up Lighties, or someone that's like represented as being bad because of the way that they rap. Like,
Gassed Up Lighties is not a good example of that.
And they were calling us that on live.
Yeah, that's rude. I can't lie, don't call Charlotte a Gassed Up Lighty. She's nowhere near them, trust me. Like, I've been around them, like yeah. But okay, that's interesting. Also, as well, I was gonna say, so as a female, and I'm just interested in your perspective, Charlotte. Obviously, you're young and like you're chasing your dream of being a rapper. Obviously, they called you Peckham Bandits and stuff like that. So, do you feel like there needs to be a change in the industry or in society, or maybe just the environment that's around you, just as a young person and like trying to make music? Like, what do you feel like needs to be done in order for you to feel more supported?
Definitely society, because the industry only based off what people like. So it's not really changing the industry, it's to change what people like in order to change the industry, if that makes sense. Okay. So for me to like go out there and be able to rap without anyone actually judge me would be so much better. But like, that's gonna come with time, and that's gonna come with someone actually showing, like you said, someone actually showing that females can actually be hard and females can actually be that. But it's not even that females bring down other females when it comes to rapping. It's mostly the males that do it. And I'm not sure if it's a superior thing or it's anything like that, but I've never had like a girl tell me I'm bad.
Yeah, I agree with you still.
Yeah, but it's also like, they feel like, I'm not sure if males like, seeing females come up out of being like suppressed and being like controlled to do a certain thing, it just makes an uproar, and it makes like people think that we're not meant to do it and automatically we're bad. So I feel like it's more society that needs to change rather than...
You feel like society feels like they need to like control women to act a certain way when it comes to being music. Like, you can't express aggression with it. Like, I felt like it was interesting that you was even saying as well, like, you feel like female artists sometimes have to feel like they sound more masculine, yeah? Because that can even go back to like 90s female rappers, like, you know, like Rough Riders.
Oh
like
yeah.
Like, they rap with a deep voice, like you hear it and then someone tell you, oh, that's a woman, and like, shit, I didn't realize.
Even like Foxy Brown and stuff like that, like, yeah, that's very interesting. I just want to put this question out to you guys, yeah. So since we're talking about females being acknowledged for their actual skill, do you have any female rappers off the top of your head where you feel like, even if they are like famous or like successful, they actually are like talented. Like they may have bars or
Definitely.
they or singers is a bit easier to kind of say which is a good singer, but I feel like especially let's just focus on rap for a bit. Is there any artists in you guys' heads where it's like
I'll say like Lex Amor.
Yeah, 100%.
And IMDb as well. Like if you're talking UK artists, I think they're both cold, and they don't have to do too much. Like you were saying, over sexualize themselves too much. It's just about the music. You get what I'm saying? So I rock them heavy still.
Yeah, Charlotte, you can't see yourself. Go on.
Wait, off the top of my head, there was this girl on TikTok. I think her name was like Miss B London or something like that, or Mrs. London. I can't remember what her name was. And she was so good, but she was so under-recognized. Like, I went onto her page, and it was like, like the freestyles that she did, it wasn't even like, it's about my body, or she dressed like properly. And then the way she was like, she never really like rapped, but she was more like spoken word on like a beat. And it was like flowy and it was good. That she changed up her voice and everything like that. That's why I really liked. That was really good.
I can't like one off the top of my head instantly is Nole. Do you know Nole? Damn. I need to introduce you guys. when I introduce you, you will see what I'm saying. But I feel like, especially, she's a rapper. I think, I can't lie to you, like she ain't really been in the press because of her music. She was beefing Trinity Banks. You know Trinity Banks? No? God. You guys. I think I'm deep in the music scene, the UK music scene than I know. But I think she's sick. But even do you feel like there's a difference between the UK and the US in terms of the development for female artists? When I say that, I mean, obviously, there's two different cultures, but if you're a female and you want to do music in America, do you feel like the come up is easier? Like, do you feel like the UK is easier? Or?
I feel like there's almost more flexibility in the UK in terms of if you're a rapper. You don't have to, like, when you lot are talking about female rappers that over-sexualize themselves, I'll be thinking of American artists mostly. The only UK one I can really think of is maybe like Steph London, but like even with her, she doesn't, when I think about it, she doesn't actually rap about over-sexualizing herself.
I mean, no, recently she can, debatable, I think recently.
I'm not that locked in with her, but like I just feel like everybody sexualizes her. Anyway,
she got bars though. She's got bars. She can actually spit still.
Like Hurting Me, I like that song.
Yeah, Hurting Me's a bad girl. I can't lie. She's one of them songs where like even if you don't like her, that song is crazy still. Okay, that's interesting.
I feel like also T Zanders. Yeah. She's like, I really like, I can't.
Okay.
I feel like she's a good rapper. She's a good rapper.
Okay.
But she does like, she has to change herself. Not really, I'm not sure that she changed herself in like a more masculine way. Yeah. But it's more about, she does this and she's on drilling and she's on that. But I feel like with the UK scene, I feel like it's more males that are coming up with rapping, and for the US scene, it's more females. Yeah.
I like that.
Even like Ice Spice is probably, out of any artist that's come up in America, the last year is probably the biggest.
She's the most buzzing. 100%.
Well, do you think she's talented or she just sexualized?
No, no, literally what we're talking about is
that's what I'm saying.
It's Ice Spice. It's perfect with Ice Spice, and especially what worries me about Ice Spice is like the effort's not there. And like,
I don't think she's that bad.
No.
If you hear her recent songs,
I think she's growing.
No, honestly, she's getting better. You know?
But I liked her older stuff. Like I liked when she didn't blow. I liked like there's one song she did. It was like EDM drill, and I was thinking, no, this is actually good. Like
but her producer mashes
what?
Every time I'm like, damn, the production is cold.
The production is top notch. Like it's solid. I can't lie to you, but. I don't know. Do you think Ice Spice is going to be a legend in 10 years' time or 20 years' time?
A legend? I don't know. If she keeps improving her sound, who knows? But right now, in terms of the music level, she's at no way. but there's space to grow.
There's space. She can definitely develop. She's got the look, everything else. But I don't know. Okay.
She does have a good voice as well, though.
Yeah, I think her
voice
cadence
is the right voice
is
for rap.
right
She's got
for
to know
rap.
how to
So.
use it.
Yeah, nah, she definitely found it though, because some of her old stuff, like, she'll sound a bit different. So again, I'm not really gonna get onto her too much because she has taken her time to like develop.
And also, yeah, like, even cool. Lyrically, she's not amazing, but like making them one-liners that everybody sings.
Yeah,
that's talented.
that's talented still. Yeah,
She literally made a whole new phrase that's worldwide, bro. You get what
I
I'm
just
saying?
deeped it though. Do you feel like she's like the female Drake? If you deep it, if you really do the comparisons, especially when you just said the one-liners, bro, and I can't lie, I don't know.
She could be. But I just feel like she needs to prove herself.
Yeah, she needs like
Another
good
hit that's as big as
not
that.
even a hit. I can't lie, you need a project that's like
project.
That's good. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? You can't just be
true
out
still.
here. Not sorry, like, these singles are calm and that, but it can only take you so far. Like, I think when you put out a project, that's when you
Put
kind
out
of
a
define
good
yourself.
project to music, people have to respect you.
Yeah. Speaking of good projects, speaking of good music in general, do we have any female artists we do consider as legends?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
That's just my favorite. female artist.
No, but Rihanna's like your favorite artist, isn't it? Low
Nah,
key.
not favorite. One of still.
Okay, yeah,
top
one of.
5 maybe.
I'll give Rihanna, you low-key have to still.
Honestly, Beyonce, because her vocal talent is really good.
yeah.
Like, I don't even talk about her fame and anything like that, but her genuine vocal talent is really good.
One who I just recently scrapped off the list was J-Lo.
Took her off.
Took off still.
How comes?
I just found out some stuff. Like,
What'd you find out?
I just found out.
Mad ambiguous.
Obviously, I just found out some stuff about like, just apparently, this is well-known information anyway, but apparently some of the songs like she's supposed to have sang, she hasn't actually sang. So she has ghost singers. That's what she's
singers?
sing. Yeah. So we have ghost writers, ghost singers, like, and it's free. There's 3 that have been like the main ones. Q-Lot's guest 1, and she's big as well.
On the floor.
Huh?
On the floor.
No, not the songs, but like a singer that's been like a ghost singer for her. And she's big as well.
Beyonce.
She was, I personally think she's up there with Beyonce, not in terms of like success and stuff, but like talent and like.
I can't think.
Should I give you a clue?
Yeah.
I believe she has. Actually, no, Nicki overtook her, but before Nicki, she was the female of like the highest selling album like of all time. Huh? No. Well, just for Adele. This is in America, sorry, US charts. She was like the highest selling in the US charts. She was big in like the 2000s, from like 1999 to 2004.
That's before me, bro.
Damn.
It's way before me.
Damn, you lot's making me feel old. God, leave. Ashanti.
Oh, no, Ashanti.
Ashanti.
Ashanti, go somewhere.
Goes first still. I wrote a couple
What I don't
songs.
understand, do they not have like a distinct voice so you feel like you could know that it's not her?
Power of production, bro. The power of production. It was just a bit sad because like for a female to be like a legend for me, like you have to rap or sing your song at least. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
true.
Like, I don't know. I feel old because the legends I'm about to tell you guys, you might not even know. Foxy Brown, Charlotte's looking the other way.
Born the other day.
True. Let me think someone quick. You know what? I'm trying to think. Even move away from rap, it just in general, like just legends. I can't lie, this gonna be very, very, very controversial. I hope you're old enough for this. But I'm gonna say Hannah Montana / Miley Cyrus. I think she's a legend.
As a legend.
I think she's a legend.
Yeah, she's got
I think
hits.
she's a legend.
Party in the USA is one of the biggest songs
Biggest
of all
in
time.
the old of, and the thing is as well, I feel like, especially because she started young as well, like to have that catalogue at this age.
Do you think she wrote all of those songs then?
No, but she sang them. She sang them like.
To be fair, if you're doing your own vocals, that is something.
Bro, that's
Now I'm hearing there's ghost singers. That was news
That's
to me.
bro. There's ghost singers, bro. But you
Oh yeah, even like Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had
What's
his
it called?
Ghost song.
Yeah.
Sitting there. What song was it?
He's got a ghost. Yeah, but I think with Bruno Mars, there was a thing where like he probably couldn't actually record a song. Like there was something wrong with him or something. Because I know he was in the hospital for a bit.
And he
But
sang someone else. We wasn't really a ghost singer, but he sang someone else's song. Mark Brown, I think. So I don't know.
there's couple people who's good singers. Good
But
artists.
that's mad. I feel like that's something in the industry that gets overlooked is how much the big artists that you see in front of you, they didn't actually like write their own hits. Someone else is behind the scenes writing it. Like it's just a facade.
It's crazy, isn't it? And especially like if we link it back to young people, it's like they're just seeing this and they're thinking, raw, like, especially for you, I don't know what your kind of view on it is, but it's kind of hard because she didn't grow up like looking, okay, who was an artist like you kind of grew up and you like, I need to get into her time. Like who was like an artist you kind of grew up and you thought, yeah, like if you can aspire to be like them, like that would be sick.
Honestly, the mostly mainstream artists, I'll be real.
Yeah, of course.
Like, Nicki Minaj, obviously.
Okay.
She's been like one of the bassists that's always been there.
I think Nicki Minaj, yeah.
She's a legend.
Is a like the more I think she's like I want to say she's like the best female rapper of all time. You know?
Because she's genuinely got talent when it comes to rapping.
Mate, like,
no, like she went on a song with who was it? Drake,
Kanye,
Jay-Z, all of them.
a
and
monster.
embodied it.
Like her monster verse, people
Was harder than
argue.
everyone
I
else's.
know all.
Her monster
favorite
verse,
song. My
that
favorite
verse
song.
is like arguably like the best
One of the
verse of
best
Yeah.
all time for like a female. So, and as well, what's sick about her is like there's actual video proof of like she was writing her own bars. She was in the studio in bare different collective music groups until it finally banged in it. So I feel like she's definitely a
Acting
legend.
serious. She's even in films,
Yeah.
acting, everything.
Yeah, I can't lie, I think full rap, like,
She needs more props.
yeah,
I
man.
don't know if she could be in the same conversation as Cardi B, to be honest.
What, in terms of her being better than Cardi B?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you guys were, I'm gonna say, what, you think Cardi B's like some...
Nah, not better than her, that's what I'm saying.
No way. I can't lie, I think it goes, for me, it's Nicki then Lil Kim.
I don't know who Lil Kim is.
No, you can't not.
Come
You
on.
know who Lil Kim is?
Come on,
Sing one of
bro.
her songs.
Charlotte,
I don't know. It's not. I
Charlotte,
don't
stop
listen to her,
looking
but I
away.
know her. I don't listen
Charlotte,
to her.
you stop looking away. She done that. Hey.
Name one, no. Even though any of her songs, that's
She did one of
crazy.
that famous dances.
No,
she
but
was like
she's-
that.
Is that, hey, if you see him busting the moves.
It's like
Bro,
that.
she,
I
like, with
don't
Lil
look
Kim,
her up, bro.
what's a song?
You lot can't dance me.
Who's that girl? No, that's Eve. That's not even
Oh, she made that. What's it called? Do you know that one?
Eve is
That's what I
low-key
meant with
legend.
Rough Riders.
Oh,
She made that
Lady
one. What's it
Marmalade.
called? Murder them.
Oh, yeah.
And then look, Nicki Minaj redid it and violent.
but I prefer Nicki Minaj. No, but this was like
heard
the bait.
this
This is the baitist though, man. This is all of them. That's all of them. Hey, you better not get copyrighted, you know.
Yeah.
Take it out. Hey, but no, I can't lie. I think you guys are boying it with Lil Kim. You might need to go. Listen, go home, especially you, Charlotte. Go home, North Road. Search Lil Kim. Search Foxy Brown. Search. You know Anne-Marie. Even this is not even rappers.
Anne-Marie, the white girl.
Is this one white girl?
No, Charlotte, man. There is a white Anne-Marie, but
Yeah, the one who did the song.
the alarm.
The one who made Friends. Yeah.
No,
F-R-I-
no, we're on different music spheres.
No,
fam.
but Anne-Marie is
I think
like,
I've heard of Anne-Marie.
You know one thing. Wait,
Yeah, is this one thing that got me to
Yeah, I know that song.
Yeah.
I've never
And
get
even,
it.
even the funny story of her, yeah. Like, also as well, what do you lot feel about that? Do you feel like or the industry kind of perpetuates this type of competition between female artists, like in terms of like one has to be the queen?
Yeah, definitely.
I think they instigate drama between them.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you know Lotto and Ice Spice are apparently beefing because Lotto's doing, what's it called? They're both doing wireless. So Ice Spice is on the main stage while Lotto's on the N4 stage. But Lotto's good though, that's the thing.
I can't lie though. I mean, if you've been wireless, like more time the M4 stage is popping. Like that's when you
I
get.
haven't been.
Oh, you need to go.
I might.
You guys haven't been?
I would die.
I went when I was like 15. It was sick still. I met like KSI, the old side man. It was lit still. Met Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, it was
You're
lit.
living.
I was living. No, I had like
I might have to go to summer.
no, I can't lie. The lineup is looking good still.
It's good.
It's looking good. That's crazy. Man said they put Ice Spice. I think it would be the other way around.
That's what I would have thought.
I can't lie, low key. Okay. But then obviously, do you feel like that's just their personal beef and similar to kind of the way the media does in the past with like Biggie and Tupac? They manipulate the situation to be like, they're beefing each other. They're trying to beef.
100, like, definitely. Like, I don't even know how the beef started. I don't really read up on the beef like that. But all I know is that they're not on, not say I don't want to say not on good terms, but not on good terms, you get. And even like, say with Nicki Minaj again, she's meant, like, people say that she's a queen of rap and she's that. And then they put everyone, like, even because they put Cardi B, saying, Cardi B's the greater, it's Nicki Minaj or Cardi B. Nicki Minaj is going to be on their top. That's it. She's been there from before, now she's still there now. But I feel like the way the media sets it for her is like, they need her to be on top. So she's thinking that she needs to still be on top, but she's already done set her legacy. So now it's just her going against that. She had a problem with Lotto, say again, because Lotto looked up to her, and then she's now trying to bash Lotto. Like, she wants to be on top because that's where the media sets it. Like, she still needs to be there. But
does this affect you in regards of, like, when you're looking at it, it's like, now, does it kind of change your mind frame, especially because you're a young artist and you want to be in that industry? Looking at stuff like that, does it kind of make you feel like, okay, cool, I need to kind of be like, I'm the best, because otherwise I'm just going to get it up? Or
honestly, yes. But like, the way is, I need to, like, even like, we have a song that's going to be released soon, but none of us really like it like that, because we would think, no, but listen to their song's good. But then you think about it, they have producers, they have money, they have like funding for all of that. We don't, we literally just make the song at school. That's how it goes. But we're gonna put it out eventually, but we don't like it, but we've got to deal with it because we're still young, we're still more time to grow.
One thing I'd say is, and it's crazy, me and Tendo were talking about it earlier today, I'm talking about like EP stuff, but we were just saying the most important thing to do, especially like at your age as well, the younger the better.
Get your music out there, man.
Put stuff out.
You're not gonna be able to get like fucking, what's the word, Waterloo Road Studios straight away.
But you will work your way there.
Make sure you get heard. That's the most important.
If someone clutch your potential, which they will, then it's
like,
time.
it's hard because I even post TikToks with me freestyling or whatever, and I still get comments, but I don't reply to no comments because I'm not bothered.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. So like, your come up, like, I feel like you can definitely be like successful in the music industry when you're older, but it's gonna be interesting because you're gonna have to grow up with social media, and I just, how does that affect you in regards to like your confidence or maybe your creative process? Does that affect that because you're looking at other people thinking, you know,
they've got this production,
and stuff like, how does, because especially with social media, I feel like it's a thing where people love boasting and you know, you only put on what people want you to see. So
for me, like, it takes me longer to release stuff if I want to post something. Because before, like, when I never used to care, I just post something and just go about my day. But now it's that, if I post it, what would they say about it? But if they swore in their rap and their rap got bare views when they didn't swear in their rap, because I start swearing in my raps, but I never used to do that. But the raps that I swear in get more views because at least like, it means more to them because it has swearing in it or whatever.
Kick or something.
Hello, my name is Amy and I am FYM's AI assistant. I have been sent on a special task by the FYM podcast crew to interview North London's very own, the amazing Lex Amor.
Speak to me properly.
The FYM crew wanted to interview Miss Amor face to face, but unfortunately due to scheduling this couldn't be arranged, hence why they sent me. Firstly, what's your aim when making music?
Primarily when I'm making music, my first aim is to get out whatever is in my heart, my spirit. Maybe at a point, you know, I meet a song with a beat, with an instrumental, and then it's maybe trying to articulate what happens naturally, like what comes to me naturally. Maybe that's a flow or a melody, or, you know, I feel like there's always like an internal spiritual signifier when you listen to music, when you listen to a tune, or a beat, or if you have a melody in mind, you know. And I think my primary aim when I'm making the music is trying to articulate that in a way that can be transferred to other people, you know. I feel like you have, and we all have our internal like signifiers, internal, you know, prompts. I think the art of making music is making that make sense without compromising like the sanctity of it. Do you know what I mean? It's just that fine balance of fine-tuning things so they make sense, but still keeping the spiritual element to it. So that's my primary thing when making music.
What's your most popular song and your personal favourite?
Going by now, I think the most popular song that I have is either Mood or Mazza. I think Mood has a special place in my heart because I feel like it indicated like a change. I think in your career there'll be songs or moments that indicate a shift. You know what I mean? Like you might still be in the same place, but there's a shift. Something has happened. You know what I mean? And I feel before that, the only shift that I felt viscerally like in my spirit was, you know, dropping my first tune or something like that. I feel like Mood felt like a bit of a shift. I don't even know what the shift like signified. I don't think I was, you know, doing better, you know, but I felt different, you know what I mean? I felt like, all right, cool, like I can make this type of music. It was a little bit different to what I'd put out before in it. So it felt like, it just felt like a new dawn. Like it felt like I had a new language, do you know what I'm saying? And it was received well, and I think that was a beautiful thing for me. It was a beautiful thing for my confidence. It was a beautiful thing for, just my pursuit of music and what I thought I would have liked, you know what I mean? So Mood has a special place in my heart. I'd say my favourite song, or probably be two songs called Pink and 100 Angels, which haven't done like what Mood or Mazza has done, but for me, those were like when I listened to them, those are close to. It's the closest I feel like I've gotten so far to doing that thing that I said previously of articulating what was in your head and making it make sense, but still in a delicate way where you maintain the spirit of it. So those songs sound the closest to what I had in my head. You know what I mean? So I think those two songs, Pink and 100 Angels, are my favourite songs. But I do have a special place in my heart for Mood.
What's the biggest obstacle you have faced? Have you faced any at all in the industry?
Biggest obstacles is probably going back to the further point about kind of the independence vibe. I'm kind of naturally averse to like authoritative figures. And really passionate about, you know, having control over my music and my output and things like that. And I guess that's meant that I've had to pursue a particular route. And the route isn't necessarily easy, so the route of independence, or at least, you know, when I'm working with people, having to, you know, put the line in the sand and say, yo, like, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what I like, and this is what I'm not willing to compromise on. And I think coming to those conclusions, knowing what I like, knowing what I don't like, I've needed to make mistakes. I've needed to, you know, say yes to things that I didn't like and not like them, to know I don't like them and to not do them, you know, again. But I think that initial kind of teething period of like not really knowing much about the industry, you know, going into things naive and just dropping tunes here and there, you know, jumping on this, jumping on that, and not really having much of an awareness of the ramifications of some of them decisions. Thankfully, nothing's been catastrophic, but just like really having to navigate like a new system, a new industry that actually is based on vibes, man. There's no like the whole industry, like, and the rules and regulations, like it's all made up, you know what I mean? And so navigating that has been a minefield at some points, but it is what it is, isn't it? We do it, we love it.
Do you feel like the industry endorses your form of art, particularly in regards to your music in comparison to the more saturated sex appeal sells records market?
I feel like in recent years, so I mean, it's in this time, so in this kind of world and time now, I feel like it's the easiest it's ever been to be independent and to make left field, quote unquote, music or alternative, quote unquote, music. because there's certain levels of autonomy that you can acquire when it comes to like, you know how you put your music out, you know? Like if nobody's checking for you, like last, you can go online, upload your music and it's on Spotify, you know? Kind of the early doors, 2016, like around then when I started making music, I had no idea how to upload them to Spotify and all of these things. So I was in SoundCloud predominantly, and I think, you know, opening up certain channels and making it easier for independent artists has helped, you know, it's made it easier. Whether it's been endorsed is another question, you know. I think it's like, that question is dependent on what you think an endorsement is, do you know what I mean? I think we've come to a place where it is possible that we won't need that kind of general market-led endorsement for our music, you know, and I think that's where we've come to. More than being endorsed by the market, I feel like we might be able to make waves without the market's endorsement, and maybe that's a general endorsement itself. So, yeah, I think it's easier than it's ever been to be independent. But I think with that ease comes a lot of graft, it comes a lot of work, comes a lot of know-how, and comes a lot of, you know, confidence as well, you know. You can definitely do things alone, but it would no doubt be easier to not, do you know what I mean? It's just, what are you willing to compromise, you know, to have that freedom? I think that's the main question, yeah.
Finally, what advice do you have for females who want to get involved in the music industry?
I mean, a lot of my advice is crossover, you know, and I think that's a big part of my belief system. I don't believe women to be inferior, less capable, less dope at all. And I don't think I ever came into this particular space with a feeling that, you know, I was less capable than anyone that I was around. Do you know what I mean? And I think primarily that would be my first bit of advice, you know, chase excellence first. Know what your craft is, know what you want to do, know what your heart desires, and be excellent at it. Be excellent. I think that kind of internal pursuit is a very, probably the most important thing, I think. Working on your craft and taking the time to develop yourself. Because unfortunately, in the world we live in, there will come a time where even that excellence might be called into question, you know what I mean? Because of your gender, how you represent, how you identify. And I think that excellence becomes an anchor, do you know what I mean? Yeah, it shields you from that, and it internally shields you. It doesn't shield you from like the world and the reality of misogyny and the reality of that kind of external perspective. But it makes you undeniable. You know what I mean? It makes you undeniable. It makes those arguments, those perspectives, those views look dumb. You know what I mean? Excellence doesn't argue back. It's a silent assassin. So my advice is be excellent at what you do, whatever it is that you do. Take time to figure out what you love, what you're passionate about, what you're naturally inclined towards. What your natural talents are, you know, what you love, and pursue excellence.
Yes, indeed. My name is Natalie Stewart, aka the Floacist, Flow of Flow Vortex, Floacist of Flowetry.
Amazing. So, firstly, when did you start making music? So, what's your first early signs of this was?
Music. Well, before I was making music, I was appreciating it. You know, my mum played a lot of serious
music, through dub, through soul, through 80s pop. My dad was more of a Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald kind of guy. We were army brats, so music meant a lot. It was identification. We traveled the world. I remember listening to dub with Big U and U-Roy while I was living in Hong Kong, you know. So that was very much identifying. My first attempts at making music, I'm a performer. So I'm a multimedia performer. Performance stage is just my thing. So theatre, no music, or theatre with music. But my first earliest kind of signs of making music was my girl group, Debonair, when we were at the Brit School. We would write and perform our own songs. Much of the lyrics were out of order, you know. We had a tune called HCL, because I was like, we need a song that is an anthem. And HCL stood for Hardcore Loving, and we were 14. 3 of them ended up having children by the time we were 18, so you know what I mean? But yeah, we lived it out. But I just remember one time doing a gig, we need some hardcore loving. And I'm like, now I look back like, my mum, what are you thinking? They must have been looking at us like, you ratchet kids. But we were just, impressionable.
The melody's sick on that.
It was heavy. It was heavy. It was a cappella. It was hardcore. It was heavy.
So do you feel like that's when you kind of realised your love for music once you started creating it?
No, my love for music was before that. I've got so many lyrics in my head. I know so many different songs. Like my mum will call me like, what's such and such? The music bed. My brother had a sound system. Music was just everything. It was just quite literally everything. So my love for music came before I started to make music. And by the time I started to make music, I had a deep study of music, which helped when I started to actually songwrite. So before that, I'm a writer. So I wrote poetry, short stories, plays, all of that. Then when we started to do Debonair, I would songwrite as well. And all kind of goes hand in hand. Then my study was more of performance though. So by the time I get to making music or performing on stages, that was already my journey. Yeah.
Okay, so you've obviously been in the industry, you've experienced maybe some highs and lows. How is it just overall just being a female in the music industry? Like, how has it treated you?
It's a funny one, because I've had some blessed experiences. I mean, I'm a 7-time Grammy nominee. I've sold a couple of million albums. I've worked with Michael Jackson, Prince, Earth, Wind and Fire, Patti LaBelle, Stevie Wonder. I mean, that's those heads, Then you've got like, Common, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. That's my era. Mos Def, So in terms of opportunities and being a girl from South London, it's untouchable. Like the highs completely and utterly outweigh the lows. The lows are almost nothing. Couple of letdowns of people, but who doesn't know to expect something of the music industry in that way? And even those lows, they're to do with me standing up for what I believe to be right, saying no to a couple of things, making full decisions. So to call them lows, even that is a little bit kind of on the switch. The whole of the music industry changed, the agenda of the music industry changed. And that's usually how eras go. That's the business, but the industry is young, art is ancient, and I'm of the art realm. So whether I'm in front of a camera or not doesn't make a difference to whether or not I'm an artist, And a lot of the stances that I took on what I would and wouldn't do, I'm so proud of. I don't really have any issue with what could be considered low.
Do you have like an example of like a stance you took where you was like, that's a boundary I wouldn't cross, like that's something I wouldn't do in the music industry? Because I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm not ratchet. That ain't gonna happen. I was asked at a certain point, to dumb my lyrics down, whatever that means. I wasn't gonna do that. I didn't want to write no songs of R. Kelly, not gonna do that. When production was kind of being called, everything was going into vocoders and
and you have to use hip hop samples. Wasn't going to do that, even though I've had hip hop samples in my music, but I wasn't going to go that route. I had no interest in packaging Floetry in a way that would have taken it into what's now the realm of music. Wasn't interested in that. Didn't want to tour with certain people, didn't do that. Wasn't looking to promote perms and hair straighteners, wasn't going to do that. So just a bag of things in that type of way, what I would wear, what I wouldn't wear. Wasn't really into after parties that you wake up and don't know what's happening, so didn't do that. Just really okay with who I was before I got there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Personal boundary.
Yeah, man, personal standards of excellence, personal boundaries, proud of being my grandmother's grandchild, wasn't going to do anything whether she could see it or not. That didn't hold that standard. Just wanted to be the difference that I wanted to see, so wanted to hold that.
I thought it was quite interesting what you're saying about like what kind of music your parents were into as well. Mm-hmm. So like, would you say that like influenced the type of music you make?
Absolutely. I feel so harsh for the younger generation now because, you know, if old school is Luke, it's hard, you know. Don't stop, get it. Let me see you do the round. That's hard if that's your parents' old school. Do you know what I mean? Even Jodeci, you know, it's harsh. At least for me, my parents' old school. I mean, some of those performers and artists had harder lives than those who are making music now, but their music was so optimistic and upstanding. So what my mum listened to wasn't really that defamatory. I mean, there's still stuff that you listen to and you go, what was that? Or you understand the twist of the word or whatever, but at least it was hidden. You know, at least it was wordplay. Now it's just WAP. Do you know what I mean? And kids are just having to take it all in, and parents, it's a very selfish realm of just listening to what they listen to in front of their kids. And, you know, there's so much, so it's difficult. So yeah, my parents' music influenced me a lot, but artistically on what the standard of music is and what the possibility of music could be, yeah, most definitely.
It's really, really interesting, especially the point you made about like kids being influenced, because we're talking about young people and mental health. So do you feel like there is, you've kind of really touched upon it, but do you feel like there is a connection between music and mental health?
Oh, absolutely.
What plays at such a young age?
Yeah, young people are under attack right now. Hardcore, it's hard. I don't know, since sex, drugs and rock and roll of the 60s, there haven't been such an attack on young people's mental backed by corporations. This is corporation-backed youth genocide. And it's people are doing it in an unashamed way. Parents are backing it. And then everyone's turning around going, what's wrong with the kids, you know? You've got the people who stand up as being activists for children, creating the music that makes the children do what they do, but then when they're not in the studio, they're also the person who's supposed to be repping, looking after the kids, you know? And it's a lot of greed. I often speak to my young people, you know, you look at somewhere like Foot Locker, and I don't call them mannequins, they got Mandem Kings. It's like you could buy a shot from the mannequin, you know? Nike, Adidas, they're all dressing these kids in the gear that they're dying in, you know? And then you've got their MCs who aren't living those lives, but are feeding them the poison. So it's hardcore because a lot of people lack, so they just want to make their way or whatever. But yeah, it's a very hard hitting time where adults are attacking children, you know? Yeah, it's no joke. And then everyone's like, what's up with the kids?
See what I found interesting, you're saying like it's almost like an attack or a genocide. Do you think there's like specific genres in particular?
Oh, absolutely.
Worse, like what genres would you say?
Oh, we know drill is there, trap is there, and the challenge isn't just, look, people are going to share their truth. If that's what they're really in, that's what their art is going to be. But the challenge is when there's no variety. So when that's all that's being pushed and everybody has to talk like that and everybody has to dress like that, that's when you know that there's an agenda about. So if there was trap and drill and that's just what people... Listen, I did plenty of headstand butterflies in the youth club dance to old Buju Banton, Gargamel. Ninja Man used to make love songs about guns, you know? So I'm not talking like I don't know what it is to be a teenager flirting with music that is hardcore, you know? But when there's no variety, because in those dances, you dance to Buju and Bounty and all of them, and then Bob Marley would start playing, you know, and One Drop would play or Natural Mystic would play in that dance. And then you had a slow down section and you had other things. But when all of that gets taken away and all you've got is harsh, all you've got is negative, and the artists aren't even living those lifestyles anymore, you know, so the artists are living next level lifestyles, but they're handing out this stuff. Yeah, it's like, you know, shotting coke to your environment, but living in the suburbs, you know. So it's hard because it takes a lot of responsibility, personal responsibility for artists, personal responsibility for record companies. I mean, why are they selling this stuff? And why are they only selling that stuff? Why is there nothing else? Where's the last boy band you ever saw? You know, where's a big man singing? Where's the guy with his guitar? And I'm not talking Ed Sheeran. Like, where are all of the other faces of music, which is where music started, is with these people who could play everything, sing everything. Marvin Gaye, a drummer who came forward and, you know, best albums, he produced the whole thing. Like, where are those cats? Why we just got to, sorry, Stormzy, be listening to Stormzy trying to sing? There are people who can sing. So sign the people who can sing and let them sing.
You know what I find interesting about what you're saying as well is like last night, the night before last night, I went out for the first time in a while, like to like a club. So they're playing different music and stuff. And it's like every single song was a trap song, like these American trap songs. And me and Sam were planning on having an episode talking about like vibrations in music.
Oh yeah.
So like, I was wondering if you knew anything or had anything interesting like to say about, you know, how there's like that specific sound in trap music that, you know, when you combine it with these negative lyrics, that it kind of like lowers people's feelings.
Well, it's science, my darling. It's science. Listen, this is biology and chemistry, because we're water beings. 70% of our body's water, right? And music moves in sound waves. So sound waves go through the water in our bodies, hence the reason babies nod to music. That you see babies move to music because they're moved, their waters are moved. I used to talk to Prince about this a lot. And the leveling up. So you've got the keys, you've got majors and minors, which literally make you feel happy or sad, you know? And then if you blend the major with the minor, you get melancholy. And then if on top of that now you vent in your music, or the difference of being solutionary. So say for instance, Bob Marley can write a song which is about having no money and not having anything and being in hardship but then his bridge is everything's gonna be all right. And by the time you get out of the song, you're lifted, you know? No Woman, No Cry is talking about the woman's crying. And he's saying, don't cry, you know, push through. So these are choices where you go and what you say. So yeah, these vibrations and frequencies are very serious. There's a reason why labels sign certain people and don't sign others. There's a reason why you got one record from Lauryn Hill. There's a reason why it stops and turns into something else. There's a reason why, you know, Black Star are independent and having to push their own thing, Mos Def and Talib Kweli, versus, you know, just other stuff that just gets more. There's a reason why certain voices are used against the people. But we do know this. We do know better. It's just sometimes we like to sit on our laurels. And it's an individual responsibility from the artist all the way through to the audience. You know, the audience has to be able to say no. The audience has to be able to say, this isn't good for my family. It's not good for my children. I'm going to play this to them. I'm going to make sure they don't hear that. But that takes responsibility and not just being kind of trendy, you know. But yeah, the frequencies is a serious thing. It's very real.
Because I felt like I was just slowly chipping away at my soul listening to that music so loud in the club, and there's just much like nonsense going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know, a lot of the labels are involved in prison business, so there's a round route for it. There's a reason why, like, say for instance, everyone, you know, loves Dr. Dre, right? But the reality is, if you take away the history of NWA, you can have much less Bloods and Crips in the world. You can have much less people who went to prison, you know, and that's what that influenced. And I'm just taking NWA as a there's a few groups that represent that, you know. So that business led to a lot of incarceration, a lot of fatherless kids, a lot of impoverished situations. There were a bag of people who would have never got into gang violence, you know. Biggie, 10 Crack Commandments. There's a lot of people who would have never got involved in drug dealing, smuggling, gangs without these things being made so cute. And then, you know, Biggie's not here, you know, Eazy-E's not here, but Puffy can call himself Mr. Love or whatever he wants to call it, when most of his artists are gone and it's just him there. So, but we can look and see it, you know. You could see when hip hop was really overly excited about the mafia and everyone's wearing mafia tops and wants to be mafioso, but it just leads to a lot of death and a lot of pain. But we know this. But it's like, how brave are we to stand against an agenda set against us? You know?
That's a really good point. Kind of makes me think about, I think I was researching Andre 3000, and then I came across the song KR, especially with the stuff you're talking about with vibrations and how he uses the major keys. So everyone thinks that this song's supposed to be about like happiness and having a good time, but no one really pays attention to what he's saying. So I feel like literally what you said there is kind of like pinpoint, like it's true. And especially the way he uses music as well, is like, he's making you feel some certain type of way, but he's kind of showing you this is what society does. It makes you feel happy, it makes you feel like certain things are supposed to happen and certain things are supposed to keep on happening, especially like relationships, especially what he talks about, how people are supposed to be in relationships. It doesn't matter what they're going through, doesn't matter if they're happy, they're sad, just be in a relationship. Why? Because society wants you to be. But in reality, if you're not happy with yourself, then why are you in?
Yeah, you should be building,
That's just literally what you just said, just kind of made me think about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, you know, there's a lot of that. And it's like, you know, what food you eat, you care about what music you listen to as well. Like I straight have music PTSD. The amount of people who say to me, have you listened to this or have you, and I'm like, I'm very serious about what goes in my ears, and I'll happily not listen to any for a while, you know. Like right now, I pretty much only listen to my husband's music at this present moment. What he's making is safe. I know it's good for me, you know. And that's not to say there's no music, but you know, you have to take time. It's like, you know, you could go to the shop and buy something that's easy, but you know that it's full of E numbers and produce, or you could take your time to pick your stuff and then cook it yourself and know that you're doing the best you can with what you have, because that's not to say that food don't have stuff in it as well, but you're making an attempt, you know, to look after yourself. And yeah, it's funny when you've seen behind the veil and you've been behind the veil, how you get along. But that's all. You know, I often say to my students or to the poets that I mentor, you know, what's the difference between art and propaganda? And, you know, for me, the answer is art has a purpose and propaganda has an agenda. But the reality is you have to be a very good artist to be a good propagandist. Like, you have to be good at what you do to take the minds of people elsewhere. So it's almost like a counteractive battle between artists who know better and artists who are happy to sell people's consciousness down. I was about to go a bit harsh in that, to the gates of hell. You know, but you know,
there's no filter.
serious. It's a responsibility, and it's real nice. Like, I can say for myself, it feels great to know that you didn't try to harm people to buy a house. You know, it feels great. Like, you could sleep and wake up and it's not on you. And when you do meet your fan base, you know that you weren't trying to harm anybody just to get a bit of fame, or to, you know, it's really good on the soul. It's really great on the spirit, and it makes you feel free, you know, rather than having done something and then having to pretend that you were unaware of the harm you were doing to people, you know.
So when you look back at your career, do you feel like, obviously, again, you've already touched on it, but do you feel like you've done music for the right reason?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. This is between me and God, you know. So when I say I'm a 7-time Grammy nominee, I don't mean I'm like, no, the Lord allowed that to happen for me. The records that I've sold, that because I know that somebody like me, where the agenda of music is, I don't just get let in the door. So it's got to have been the Most High who guided that, you know, because I want people to be well, and that's not necessarily the agenda of these businesses at this present time, because it all goes around, you know. Trust me, soon the music industry's going to only want to sign hippies and people who want to sing about love. It's coming, you know, love. And in Jamaica, they've just ruled, you know, criminal music. They're not playing it anymore. And in America, all the gangsters who are singing about their crimes are about to get locked up with their albums on trial with them. So it's coming around, because this stuff is unsustainable, you know, it's unsustainable. And I'll be there when it comes around with an album to drop.
Could you say, I thought, let me remember one sec, sorry. I thought it was interesting what you were talking about like an artist's conscience. As they produce music they know might not be beneficial for their fan base, yeah. So like, for an artist that is, say, living out what they're talking about, like this negative stuff they're talking about, would you say if they're getting themselves out of that situation by corrupting people in a sense, would you say that's like picking the lesser of two poisons? Or
no, I think if you know it's not good for you and then you sell it to other people, it's just not good, you know. Although I would more so respect someone who is articulating their actual life rather than some kind of suburban cat getting in the studio and spitting that stuff because they know it sells. But I think the respect would come if they were able to articulate the difference when the difference happens too. Because as a person, you grow. So your art could be real on your first record, but why does your second record sound like your first record if you're living something different? You know, if now you're living in mansions, why are you still talking about the road?
Because there's some people, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like, there's a lot of people like that, like UK artists, that I've seen some that just keep on, their lyrics are reflecting the life they were living before, and then there's others that kind of, rather than the lyrics reflecting the life they're living before, they're reflecting on the life that they lived before.
Yeah, and it's much more responsible. But if you are on the guest list to Paris Fashion Week, I don't need to hear about you stabbing someone on the corner of the road.
Yeah.
Like, you're just lying now, and now you're literally just reaping off of other people's pain, and it's wrong. There's no other way to look at it. It's wrong. And if you're a 45-year-old man, why are you making music for 16-year-olds that is telling 16-year-olds to do things that are gonna put them in a black hole, you know? So there's all of these different things. If you've survived, why can't you share the survival? Why aren't you enough of an artist to articulate how to win? And I don't mean how to make dough. I mean how to win, how to live, how to raise your kids, how to make it through. Because a lot of these cats are much more intellectual than they're putting on. A lot of them
100%.
have journeyed and actually really, I'm sure if you had a conversation, they'd be so much more interested in conversation than they are on record, you know? And it's an artist's responsibility to make interesting conversation into heavy music. So you can have a heavy rhythm. Why do you have to go there with your lyrics? Why aren't you brave enough to talk realness? You know, why are you just, you know, being easy with it in that type of way? But those are personal challenges, you know, that you got to be able to give to yourself if you're really about this music life, because it's about mastery. You know, you're supposed to get better. You look at someone like Stevie Wonder, man's got tunes about all types of things, you know, and gets better, but actually plays all the instruments. And nowadays people like do music and they don't really do music. They're not really musical, you know?
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, you guys got to go very soon.
I told you it was going to be difficult to do 20 minutes with me.
25 plus minutes we've got just quickly before you go.
Yes, beloved.
We've got some female artists that are upcoming. We're going to interview very soon. So, do we get any advice for them, like just their way of navigating the industry and just kind of coming up?
One day you're going to be a big person, and God willing, you're going to be someone's mum. Try not to make any music that makes your kids never listen to you. There's a difference between being strong and being stupid. Look into the difference. Have a personal standard. And it's really beautiful to be a woman. It's a beautiful thing. You don't have to pretend to be a guy. And there are more women in the world than there are men. So concentrate on your own audience. Don't be so concerned about getting men's ears. Talk to women about women's stuff.
I feel like that's so relevant nowadays, especially in the industry. Again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to even sit and talk to you.
Absolutely. I've loved the conversation. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Please keep us.
Safe.
Please keep us.
Healthy.
Please keep us.
Happy.
Please keep us.
Guided.
Please keep us.
Debt-free.
Debt-free. Please keep us.
Stress-free.
Stress-free. Please keep us.
Grounded.
Please keep us.
Together.
Please keep us.
Loved.
And please keep us.
Covered. Covered. Covered.